Welcome to another edition of Smart Chat. And with the weather being 100 degrees outside, I thought why not bring cool thoughts to your being. And the cool thoughts have to do with football, because when there's football, you think of cold. And football, believe it or not, as far as spring training goes, is right around the corner. So what I thought I'd do is preview or at least give some of my thoughts and predictions on the teams going into the season. And I plan to do at least one a week and review majority, if not all, of the teams coming into this season. So the first team that comes to mind is a local team here, being from New York, and that is the New York Jets. Some key stats from 2012 from the New York Jets. Points, they averaged 17.6. They were ranked 28th. Total yards, 299.2, ranked 30th. Passing yards, 299.2, ranked 30th. Rushing yards, they were ranked 118.5, ranked number 12. Defensive ranking, and they were ranked number 20th with allowing 23.4 points per game. Total yards, 323, and they were ranked 8th. Pass yards, 189, ranked 2nd, and rushing yards, 133. They were ranked 26th, and that is your defensive stats. So some of the key points to look at teams going into this new year, has to do with a few points, but the main points are your quarterbacks, your receivers, and your defense. So I want to go over first the quarterback situation with the New York Jets. And Tebow Mania has left the building. It's moved on from New York to New England. So you don't have Tebow, who, let's face it, he really didn't do much over here except bring a circus media, as if New York did not need more of a media than they already have. So now the media, as far as the Jets quarterback situation, will go on between Mark Sanchez, the $58 million quarterback, and second round pick Geno Smith. So you're wondering, as far as career stats so far from Mark Sanchez, 68 touchdowns, 69 interceptions. And he started off strong his career, but the last 2 or 3 years has been on a gradual downfall. Long forgotten as far as Sanchez goes are the 2 consecutive AFC championship appearances, now replaced, unfortunately, with the dreaded butt fumble. Sanchez honestly must have a great preseason, because the pick that the Jets made, Geno Sanchez, has the tools to take over that position. At 6'3", 220, and being a mortar quarterback with adequate arm strength, he poses as a real threat to Sanchez. At West Virginia, Smith totaled a career 98 touchdowns with 67% completion rate. But as with every young quarterback, their maturity issues. That's something that you gotta figure will be a threat. The Jets seem to now be distancing themselves as saying that Mark Sanchez is their franchise quarterback. They seem to be distancing themselves from that thought, and it makes sense. Rex Ryan He wants to keep his job. What choice but he has but to distance himself now? So who will he go with? For Rex Ryan to keep his job, this is a crucial decision on who he picks to be the starting quarterback. For me, it's simple at least. Bench Sanchez and start Smith. Even doing this, I don't see a pretty picture, as Smith will obviously take time to show his promise develop. But he could show promise for the future. If all else fails and Smith does not show potential, there is a lot of promising quarterback drafts prospects next year. Who knows? But Rex Ryan won't be able to make that decision if this season is a total disaster. So it's interesting to see what will happen with the quarterback situation. As far as a grade on the quarterbacks, I give it a D. Running backs. Seems like the Jets, as they have let go of Sean Green, have finally, given up on the breakthrough season, something that never happened with Sean Green. They have now went with Chris Ivory, who averaged last year 5.4 carries for the Saints. A limited action. He now in New York will be relied to take out more carries, as he's more than likely becomes the top running back in New York. Ivory is the type of running back, probably it's safe to say, that fights for extra yards, and that's something that Rex Ryan loves. He will be probably, honestly, one of the few bright spots in the Jets offense this year. Then you also had Mike Goodson, who really did not do anything, but he played well last season for the Raiders when starting for McFadden. He totaled 221 yards rushing and 195 receiving yards, and he averaged 6.3 as far as carries. He didn't do much, but he has promise. But he basically messed all of that up by his arrest this past season, and who knows if he'll be still kept on the team. So far he is. Who knows what that situation will come out to, if he will have any jail time whatsoever. As far as the running back situation, you also have Powell and McKnight as well. And you have John Griffin. They also provide extra depth. I feel that the Jets were quietly putting together a solid running back unit. Quietly. Then the Goodson drama unfolded and put a whole spin on the position. If Goodson gets cut, there will be questions to the talent behind Ivory, and I would recommend taking a look, at what the free agents market might have, such as, let's say, Ahmad Bradshaw. As far as the running backs, give them a C. Wide receivers, Santonio Holmes got injured, restructured his salary in this season. He had a foot injury. Doesn't look like he's coming back relatively soon. So then you're left with Curley, and you're also left with Hill. And then after Curley and Hill, there is not much out there as far as that. Not much at all. Curley, Hill, Holmes. After that, there's a whole bunch of, young receivers who, never even really taken the field at all. And from the players that they do have, Hill in particular cannot catch the passes, which absolutely drives Rex Ryan crazy, I'm sure. You got to think what will happen with Hill. I see an underperforming year for Hill once again, and John Idzik will probably question if he will ever develop into a deep threat. But you only have two solid starters right now in Holmes and Curley, and that's, when Holmes comes back, tough to say. As far as the wide receivers, give them a C, maybe even a D. Tight end, you've lost Dustin Keller, who was reliable but was not doing much. To replace him, you have on their roster right now Jeff Cumberland, Rulin, Hayden Smith, Mike Shannon. Not much there. An F. Offensive line, solid B. Defensive line, B. The line is young and has the potential to be great. Wilkerson and Richardson should form a nice pass rush duel and will make it hard for running backs to run on the edges. Linebackers, just an overall, not to prolong this, C. Cornerbacks, losing Revis, tough to say, B. Overall, this whole team right now, based on the situations, based on mostly wide receivers and quarterback and running back, with what's going on with Goodson, I see this team, as far as my prediction, 3-12, and unfortunately Rex Ryan being let go halfway through the season due to their record and honestly the struggles of Sanchez. Because as much as I feel that Geno Smith should start, I think that even though the Jets are slowly backing away from Sanchez as their go-to guy, I think Rex Ryan is loyal and will still use Sanchez. So unfortunately, it seems like Rex Ryan will lose his job, and Mark Sanchez, quite honestly, needs a change of scenery. So 3-12 is what I feel for this team. Let me know your thoughts, so on and so forth. All my information is found below, and until next time.